Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta. I brought a lot of energy at the beginning of the last service, and they were not as into it as I think you're going to be. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta. We have an awesome service for you. It's about evangelism, and I oddly like that. So our first hymn is a song called Love Will Guide Us with a slightly different version. Please rise in body or in spirit. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. We are so glad you're here. Before we move on, I do want to lift up our Just Sound and Lights team who put up these extra TVs here for folks who are sitting in the back and yet are not the tallest folks. It helps them see lyrics. And I also, we are live streaming every service. So if you're ever out of town or not feeling well, you can always live stream the service. My parents watch every Sunday, and I get like a text message after the service critiquing me. I'm kidding. They're very kind. We are so glad you are here. It is the best place to be in Atlanta, Georgia on a Sunday morning.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta, a beloved community that is changing lives. I'm Bill Kramer, and I'm so glad you're with us today. Wherever you are from, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. If this is your first time, or if you've not yet had a chance, please stop by our Welcome Center in the Social Hall after this service to allow us to get to know you a little better. And you can sign up to receive information about services and programs being presented over the next several weeks. As always, all visitors are invited to join our weekly Inquirers class, where you can learn more about our UU movement, our faith, and our congregation. This week, the Inquirers will be hearing from leaders of our pastoral care and small group ministry teams. This meeting will be in room 1 right after this service. Also at 12:30 here in the sanctuary, join Dr. Jason Delaney for the continuation of his popular series, Worthy Beyond Worth. This 5-part workshop aims to improve the way we think about, talk about, and work with money in our communities and lives. Please note that all are invited, whether or not you have been able to attend any of the previous sessions. Finally, for congregants and Wonderful Wednesday regulars, all are invited to make your Wednesday even more wonderful by joining the newly rescheduled weekly yoga class. Starting this week, the weekly yoga community class will meet in the sanctuary every Wednesday from 5:30 to 6:15. Come with your mat or beach towel and for 45 minutes of gentle yoga with our new yoga teacher. And then head on over to Wonderful Wednesday to get your belly filled. We hope you plan to take advantage of all that our religious education program has to offer. And now please take a moment to be sure that your cell phone is in its most reverent position. Thank you and welcome again, once again, to UUCA on this beautiful fall morning.
Few things. Oh, there's music. New member, welcome. So there does come a time when people in this worshiping community decide to become a member. It's a serious commitment. It's a joyful one as well for all of us. Because this is a way of declaring to the world and to oneself, this is who I am. Unitarian Universalist. What this community believes in, what it stands for, what this community does, this is who I am. Membership is also a way to deal with how the world can distract us from our own personal and spiritual growth. Just think about how one kind of screen or another can steal our attention and our time. Life is so busy. But membership is a way of setting a clear intention for your life. With membership, we say, I am not going to allow the rush, the gush of life to distract me from my personal growth and needs. Membership is my way of committing on a regular basis to carve out time for my spirit to breathe and grow. And so we celebrate membership today, and we celebrate and honor our newest members. Would they please come forward to the chalice table as I call out your name? And will the rest of us not applaud until the end? Says, by being part of UUCA, I hope to deepen my spiritual connection with other people, with my community, and with the rest of the world. Welcome, Bill. Peter Reinhardt says that a continuous commitment to keeping our moments of deepest faith, conviction, and calls to action in the forefront of our minds is what inspires him to join. And Peter's wife, Leslie Chase, says she becomes a member to reconnect with her spiritual self and to enjoy the fellowship of UU community. Joyce Lanterman became a member because this is the place that inspires her to live into her social justice instincts. And in UUCA, we are always trying to do the very best as we know it. Aisha Lee joins our congregation with hope to foster a positive, inclusive, and intercultural spiritual life for herself and her family in an open and safe community. And her husband, Alan Lee, joins UUCA to strengthen a diverse village in his life that is committed to love and action. Pam Gillis Gilberts and husband Dave Gilberts, they grew up in a small town in East Georgia where there was a lack of diversity, where they observed racial prejudice and inequality and felt stifled by pressure to conform and oppressed by some difficult family circumstances. They vowed that they would escape and live their lives as they chose, be successful on their own terms. Being a member of UUCA will give them an opportunity to learn about the beliefs, needs, and life experiences of other people, which will help them know what they need to do to work toward goals that hold dear, such as social justice and environmental justice. And in turn, they hope that what they learn and what they do as members of UUCA will help empower and enrich the lives of others. Brianna Williams, is she out there? Ah, there you are. Brianna hopes to stretch her understanding of what it means to be human and to navigate the many unexpected hurdles life throws at her. She wants to be the person her 5-year-old self would be proud of. She hopes for the world that to make choices based on love and inclusivity rather than fear and entitlement. She hopes UUCA can be a well of healing for herself and for all the intersectional communities we serve. Beck Shalizi, I hope I'm getting that right. This is your time, so if it's not right, let me know. It's a key moment in people's ability to say your name. Shalizi? I did. Okay, good. Beck Shalizi. Beck hopes to strengthen Beck's commitment to social justice and their connection to spiritual wisdom and a community that supports their journey. In turn, Beck hopes to support this community in its endeavor to create meaningful relationships, compassionate justice, and spiritual community. Jackie Kinnebrew hopes to create and keep lasting connections with others in this new community. Jackie hopes to share space, time, and connection with those who hold similar, but not necessarily the same, hopes for the world, and who will challenge her to grow and learn. Amanda Owings. Amanda hopes to have a Unitarian Universalist community in her life once again. And I think Carol Ann is going to light your chalices. So we have given you chalices as a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. Not only may you find a chalice here, but to take one home with you into the rest of your life. We hold each of your hopes tenderly, like these little sparks of light. We are grateful for the energy you bring and have already brought to this faith community. We have religious education teachers, members of young adult groups, parents, people who have already enjoyed and given fellowship here. I invite each of you in the congregation to introduce yourself to our new members at the new member reception table in the social hall right after the service. And now, won't you please join me in a responsive reading of welcome to our newest members. And parents, if you have kids with you, please help your children join us in the responsive reading. So the congregation will say, "We welcome you with hope and joy to join us in this community of faith, where we will support you in your spiritual journeys and work side by side with you for justice and peace." And you will say, "Today, today, we renew our commitment to support the mission and covenant of this congregation through our gifts and our service. All together, may we become the people we aspire to be and the people the world needs. And now we will celebrate. You can meet and greet these newest members of UUCA in the social hall after the service. Let us now give them a warm round of welcome and applause. We're so glad to have you with us. And now I'm realizing we never extinguished the chalice in our last service. Oh. Oh, we just lit it again. Okay. Well, won't you, I'll just do it. Bill, is that okay? Just join me in saying the chalice lighting words as we light the chalices in our hearts. May the light of this flame illuminate our tradition of seeking, invite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace. Light of our chalice flame also represents the warmth of community, and this is the beginning of our series on UU evangelism. So won't you please take a minute to turn to someone you don't yet know, offer them a vigorous word of welcome into this worshiping space. Welcome. Welcome. Great to meet you. Welcome. My mic's on.
I'm having kind of the same experience right now myself.
Hi, I'm Pierce. You have a part in the song I'm gonna sing. So this song has a call and response in the chorus. Yeah, I know. You look so excited. So sometimes when I stand up here, you learn as a performer that some people will just have a full-on stone face the whole time you perform. And they're having a great time. They love it. That's just their resting face, right? And so at the first service, everyone who sang along had resting face the whole time. So he sang, "Gonna walk," and they went, "Gonna walk." Just there. So we can maybe do differently. So the call and response goes like this. I will sing, "Gonna walk," and you sing, "Gonna walk." So, "Gonna walk." Then it keeps going, won't quit till I get. Then together we sing, "To the bottom of your heart, to the bottom of your heart." And that's the whole thing. If you want to try harmonies, inadvertent or on purpose, you are just totally welcome. You just go for it. There's no wrong note. So let's try the whole thing. Gonna walk, I won't quit till I get to the bottom of your heart. You got it mostly. I've been sitting at the corner of love when dots connect and there's an order above, and there is no one that can touch me when it's the same thing coming again. I swear I gotta say, gonna walk, I won't quit until I get to the bottom of your heart. Gonna walk, I won't quit till I get to the bottom of your heart. Oh, 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 to the bottom of your heart. Walking hour after hour. If I could use a walking superpower, I would use it just to come and find you. Then it's the slow and steady again, never going away. Gonna walk, I won't quit till I get to the bottom of your heart. Gonna walk, I won't quit until I get to the bottom of your heart. Oh, 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 to the bottom of your heart, to the bottom of your heart. If there's a puzzle I could solve, I'd find a way to find you. I wouldn't mind to. I will muscle my resolve, and every day I'm walking away, never gonna stray. Gonna walk, I won't quit till I get to the bottom of your heart. I'm gonna walk, I won't quit till I get to the bottom of your heart. Gonna walk, I won't quit till I get to the bottom of your heart. Oh, 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 to the bottom of your heart, to the bottom of your oh, oh, to the bottom of your heart, to the bottom of your heart. So engaged. Thank you. The smiles.
This morning's reading is from Mary Oliver, her poem, The Journey. One day, you finally knew what you had to do and began, though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice. Though the whole house began to tremble and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life, each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough, and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save.
Be ours a religion which like sunshine goes everywhere, its temple all space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love. Be ours a religion which which like sunshine goes everywhere. Its temple all space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love.
Let us put hands upon hearts. Feel the warm connection. Let love in this moment flow. Say to yourself silently, I will love myself. I will love others. And that love will heal the world. At this time, we often hear the joys and sorrows of this congregation. And I want to invite you to reach out. If you are experiencing a deep sorrow or a deep joy, share that with our lay ministers or with me, so we may hold you prayerfully in this moment. You are invited to say the names of people you are holding in your heart this morning, people in need of loving energy. Speak their names into this holy space now. As humans have gathered for millennia, so we gather on this day to gently surrender to something beyond ourselves, to humbly acknowledge our mistakes, to ask forgiveness, to seek hope and renewal, to honor the earth that supports and sustains life, to remember that all beings are inextricably and mysteriously connected, and to feel that connection. Now we still our bodies, we still our minds. We take in a big breath, and we exhale. We relax into this space that our intentions make sacred. We enter into the wise silence.
Be ours a religion which like sunshine goes everywhere, its temple all space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love.
So I was recently asked if I would provide some reflection on why I give to this congregation, and so here are my thoughts today. Some of you may recall from the original Studio 54 era, and others closer to my age, perhaps from the disco revival of the early 1990s, the dance classic, Last Night a DJ Saved My Life. Sitting at home alone, nursing a broken heart, the singer heads out to join the life-affirming community of the disco. Well, friends, to borrow a metaphor, 10 years ago, a UU saved my life. Many of you, some of you, have heard my story before. 10 years ago, at the height of the Great Recession, my husband's employer closed their San Francisco office, and facing unemployment, Doug took a transfer to their Atlanta location. We had 3 days to say yes and 3 weeks to move, after both living in California for more than 20 years. And when we arrived, I sat at home with a broken heart, grieving from the loss of my career, my close friends, and my community. Now, having never lived in the South before or even been here, my early observation was that community often happens in churches. So I sought out a church to meet people. Now, I grew up Catholic and I went to Catholic schools. I received the sacraments. I even considered becoming a priest. But by the time I was 20, my religious life wasn't working. So quietly and gradually, I walked away from it. So 2 decades later, I still wasn't really looking for a religious life. I didn't want a churchy church. So I came to UUCA because I was lonely. And here I found like-minded people, people struggling with the big questions, people who just needed to be near and among others, to not be alone. And over in our former building, in that circular sanctuary, I was literally surrounded by a love energy that gradually washed away my grief and my loneliness and supported my vulnerability. Now, each Sunday, I listened to the sermons with my ears, but eventually I heard those sermons with my heart. And that's when I realized a long dormant need for a faith life was awakening. And UUCA was my life-affirming community. In the decades since I first started attending, I've had the privilege to serve this community on projects, committees, as a lay minister, a liturgist, on the board of trustees, and as the finance trustee. And it was in that position I saw firsthand how important a financial commitment is to this congregation. Pledging allows us to forecast how to run our community most effectively. It allows us to hire people, to purchase supplies for our RE classes, and to provide the audio and visual equipment that has enhanced our worship experience. Now, don't get me wrong, anytime you give money to UUCA, we appreciate it. But imagine working all week, and on Sunday, when you go to collect your paycheck, you open that envelope, and you have no idea what figure is going to be on that. Maybe it's $100. Next week, it's $1,000. After that, it's $400. Without pledging, this is how we would have to work, never knowing what we can do or what we can commit to. So pledging does serve an administrative need, but it also serves an emotional need. Now, my first pledge was a very modest $25 a month, but as my emotional investment to UUCA increased, so did my financial investment. And I want to encourage all of you to reflect on how UUCA has impacted your life. How has your life different because you are here today? Please see our friends at the pledge drive table in the social hall, or go online to uuca.org and make your pledge today. Because I want this community to be as successful as possible, to save as many lonely, broken hearts as possible. And I hope you want that too. This morning's offering will now be given and gratefully received.
This is a song by, it has mood lighting. The song has mood lighting. It's a song by a UU singer-songwriter named Zoe Toby. It's a beautiful song about that feeling that you just want to change things and you don't quite know how yet. It's called Blessed Unrest. Oh, I am waking up to find my world between the darkness and being reborn. I see what is and I see what could be. Can't close my eyes again and go back to sleep. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. How can I change our course? Just a lonely voice, just want to lose myself in all the noise. But if we all could rise, a generation proud, then with a mighty song we'd turn this world around, around. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Ancestors all behind, and before me every child. Ancestors all behind, and before me every child. Ancestors all behind, and before me every child. I see the power of a long unbroken line. So when my time is through, I want to know, did what I came to do for the future ones. So in our darkest days, may we all be strong and give our lives so life can go on. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. For the turning of the tide. For the turning of the tide.
Suzanne, we forgot someone. Come on down. So we have another new member. Suzanne Campbell. Welcome to UUCA. So please greet Suzanne also in the fellowship hall after the service. Thank you so much for being a part of this community, Suzanne. Looking forward to knowing you. And that's not all. Since June, we have welcomed 25 new members to UUCA. We saw 13 people up here, but we have 25 new members now in an office park. That's pretty amazing. But also, that is not the trend in other congregations, not only Unitarian Universalist congregations, but any churches. They're not really welcoming 25 new members every Sunday, unless they're a mega church with thousands, and that's a whole different project. But most churches our size, that's not what is happening. And I think that's because we have something going here, something that is exciting and something that is beautiful and creative, innovative and scrappy, and something that is welcoming and speaking to people who are yearning for a word of hope in a world where hope is hard to find, and people who are yearning and seeking warmth of community in a world that seeks to isolate us. And I believe in what is happening here and in the blessing of your gift that contributes to the world we wish to live in, the world of our dreams, where everyone has a chance to feel welcomed and loved and known for all their complications, known really authentically. Because to have a community that can welcome people with all of their challenges, welcome them for who they really are, that creates that blessed unrest. It creates something this world desperately needs, a slice of heaven on earth. And that's what we're doing here. It's no small thing. Blessings on this gift, may it go far and wide to spread love and hope to those who need it in Atlanta and beyond.
Let's dedicate our offering together. The words are in your order of service or on the screen. To the word of this congregation, which is reading the tapestry of love and action we call community, we dedicate our lives, and these are our offerings.
In 1822, Thomas Jefferson said this about our faith. He said, "I confidently expect that the present generation will see Unitarianism become the general religion of the United States." Now, I happen to believe he was only a couple of generations off. It's serious. But if we are going to get there, and I believe we will, we have to change our entire relationship to our faith. You and I do. First, you may have noticed I called this our faith, our religion, our religious denomination. It's not a social movement. It's not a club or a society. Unitarian Universalism is a religion. You can quote me. Now, because our religion upholds our fourth principle, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, we are a religion without a creed. However, we do have some core essential beliefs that unify us. We believe in original blessing and not original sin. We believe in universal salvation and reconciliation, not an afterlife of eternal doom. We believe heaven and hell are created here on earth. We believe each life has worth and dignity. We believe all life is interconnected and interdependent. We believe Jesus was a great rabbi and prophet in human form. And beyond that, as the prescription says, results may vary. Thanks. Now, it occurred to me recently that I have not yet shared with you my moment of call. In ministry, this is the moment when one feels the call from God or Spirit. And most calls to ministry experiences are like a snowball rolling down a mountain over time, gathering speed until it is too large to ignore, and you must get out of its way or succumb to the avalanche. But for me, there were a couple of moments, but I actually did have one clear moment of call, and for me it was more like cymbals being smashed in front of my face. It was the last Sunday in July in 2008. I was living in Asheville, North Carolina, and working somewhat ambivalently as the Director of Religious Education at the UU congregation of Asheville. 7 days earlier, a man had walked into my home congregation where I was a youth in Knoxville, Tennessee, the Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church, during Sunday services, holding a guitar case. And in the guitar case was a rifle. And in the middle of a children's performance during Sunday worship, this man opened fire on my congregation, full of my friends and mentors, my church family, killing 2 people and wounding 6 others, before my best friend's dad and the board president rushed him and wrestled him to the ground. The UU trauma response team flew down and spent the following week with the congregation, and it was decided that the following Sunday they would reconsecrate the sanctuary, making it once again a safe space. The current director of religious education was too traumatized to re-enter the building, and so I volunteered to drive over and serve as the director of religious education for the day. And the service was about to begin. Everyone had gathered, with all the former ministers of that congregation had also flown in. Everyone had gathered when I realized the youth group was not there. They were late. And I remember walking out, asking them to hold the service, walking out and finding the high school youth group sitting in their room in the dark, alone, no adults with them, asking themselves what they were going to do. They were quiet, dazed, traumatized. I came to them and I explained that I had recently been a high school youth group member at that church. I had sat in those couches where they were sitting. I had been one of them. And I invited them to come with me into the sanctuary. I promised them they could sit together and that I would stay with them. We held hands as we walked into the sanctuary, creating a chain of support. And I brought them into the very center of the sanctuary, about there, where they could sit on the floor, protected by the pews all around them. And as we entered the white, light-filled sanctuary, you could see spatters of blood on the walls and on the pews. The youth sat together in a huddle. They made a fortress of their bodies, leaning into each other. And I sat with them. Together we held each other and all sang Spirit of Life. And at that moment, I experienced utter certainty. I knew I would give the rest of my life to this faith that had created a refuge for these kids, gay, transgender, Latino, black, white, and that I would devote my life to the cause of Unitarian Universalism and religious freedom. And I have never looked back since that day. Now, that congregation was proud of its ecclesial work. In the years leading up to the shooting, they had a banner that read very plainly throughout the 90s, "We welcome gays and lesbians." The minister was always on the front page of the paper, speaking at rallies against gun violence, marrying gay people though it was against the law, speaking out against charter schools and redlining. And as a high schooler, I was persecuted every day in Knoxville for my heathenism. But since that shooting, the city of Knoxville has rallied around the church. They've lifted it up. Knoxville's making it a central player in interfaith work in the city. And Knoxville's two most recent mayors were a part of that congregation. Now, I remember when the local news station interviewed the Unitarian Universalist Association national president, Bill Singford, who came down after the shooting for the reconsecration service. The news reporter asked him on camera if we UUs believed that the shooter was going to hell. And I will never forget Reverend Bill's response. He said, "We don't have to send him to hell. He is already there." Someone with that much hate in his heart is already living in hell, and our hearts go out to him. The reporter was stunned. It was the best expression of universalism I had ever witnessed in my life. The prosecutor wanted the death penalty for the killer, but the congregation testified and fought hard for him to be sentenced to life in prison without parole, which was the sentence that was granted. Now, this was a shining moment for Unitarian Universalism, and in the years that followed, the membership exploded at TVUUC, and it continues to thrive and grow today. So you see, the stakes are very high for me. That this is a matter of life and death, what we are doing here. And when I say we are saving lives, I mean it. That is what I mean. Now, I am excited about the future of our faith in this moment. I am particularly excited about the future of our faith in Atlanta and across the Southeast. See, we have a UU congregation of Atlanta with a new senior minister recently renovating a centrally located, beautiful property. We also have a church plant on the west side in Reverend Duncan Teague's Abundant Love congregation. Very exciting. We have a brand new dean of spiritual life and head chaplain at Emory University who is a Unitarian Universalist minister. Never had this before. And we have exciting new ministers also in Sandy Springs and Roswell. We have so many healthy, vibrant ministries in this time. We are starting to show up at more interfaith tables. I have been asked to join the inaugural board of the Georgia Interfaith Public Policy Center, a network of faith leaders who advocate, educate, and lobby for the common good. Reverend Raphael Warnock from Ebenezer Baptist Church sits on this board with me, as does Rabbi Peter Berg from the Temple and Bishop Robert Wright of the Episcopal Diocese of Atlanta and many more longtime Atlanta leaders. So this is the situation we find ourselves in 2019. Now this is a dark time, I know, full of political division and legislative bigotry, rising sea levels and climate denial, mass incarceration of black and brown people, and forced child separation of migrants. And this is our time of call. The world needs us to thrive, to offer a slice of heaven in the way we model religious tolerance and cultural diversity, authentic cultural diversity. But what if we never shared our faith with anyone? Here is what is at stake. If we do not share our faith, then we will acquiesce religion to people who would use it to spread hate, division, and weaponize it for political gain. They will get religion. Now, growing up in East Tennessee, I remember a series of billboards that graced the skyline in the late 90s. Perhaps you remember them too. It was a giant black billboard with huge white letters featuring phrases such as, "Let's meet at my house Sunday before the game." Dash God. Or, "That love thy neighbor thing, I meant that. God." You remember these? Or the ominous, "Don't make me come down there. God." Well done. I'm glad you didn't prank me. I did know they were going to do that. Did anybody, seriously, show of hands, anybody remember those billboards? Okay, across the Southeast. Now, I am not clear how this was not viewed as blasphemous, honestly. Instead, it was claimed by Southern Baptists as messages to non-believers, and it was one of the most popular advertising campaigns of the decade. And I remember looking up at those billboards as a high school senior. I used to sit and wonder what a UU billboard would say. "Be yourself, you are loved. Whomever you love, you are welcome. Honor the interconnected web of life." I longed for our church to host the baccalaureate service for graduation instead of having it at the Calvary Baptist Church. And I longed for us to host interfaith prayer breakfasts. In fact, I still long for this reality, and this is my goal here in Atlanta: total benevolent takeover. What else is at stake if we do not share our faith? What is at stake is that people you know and people you love will live their whole lives in isolation, never knowing there was a faith community that would love them, learn with them, and grow with them. We do have one profoundly evangelist time of year at UUCA. Do you know what that is? I mean, do you? Do you know what that is? What's our evangelist time of year at UUCA? Our most evangelists. They don't get to answer because they were here earlier. What do you think it is? Pledge drive? No. Who said Pride? It's Pride. It's Atlanta. It's Pride Sunday. On Pride Sunday, we wear our golden Side with Love UU t-shirts, and we march in the parade. We hand out flags or cards with our congregation's logo and web address unabashedly. This year, I took on the tradition Reverend Anthony began by wearing a full clergy collar for the first time in my life and walking along the sidelines of the parade, shaking hands with people who had journeyed from around the Southeast and beyond to attend Atlanta Pride. And I was wholly unprepared for what I experienced. I walked along the sidelines of the parade, shaking hands, bestowing blessings to people dressed in drag or making out with their partner or just letting their freak flag fly. I said, "You are blessed and you are beautiful," while hugging them and handing them one of our cards. Many people whooped with joy to see me, yes, when they saw me come down their way. And many people said to me, thank you for being here." And then other people hugged me and cried on my shoulder right there in the parade. And I didn't realize it. But with a simple blessing and just by our presence, we offered healing to people who had been told by someone dressed like me that they were not worthy of God's grace, that they were excluded from the welcome table. And so I returned home, pensive and exhausted from pride, wondering what other opportunities we were missing out there to share our love and our good news of radical acceptance with our city of Atlanta. Now, some of you out there today may be skeptical when I speak of evangelism, concerned that it does not adhere to the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Some of you may be here because you are escaping efforts to convert you. And I want to be very clear about the difference between evangelism and proselytizing. Because by definition, evangelism is merely zealous advocacy of a cause. I mean, you can be evangelist about many things. Coffee, singing, as Don is. The word derives from the 12th century, from Old French, late Latin, and early Greek, meaning preacher of the gospel, literally bringer of good news. Also connected to angelos, messenger, angel. Classical Greek meant the reward of good tidings, whereas proselytize means to convert or attempt to convert someone from one religion, belief, or opinion to another. And that word came along 2 centuries later, in the 14th century, from Old French proselyte, late Latin and Greek, convert to Judaism, stranger, one who has come over, surrender, a Gentile converted to Judaism. And I want to be clear that I am talking today about evangelizing and not proselytizing, because we honor all beliefs and respect people's beliefs, but we still have some good news to share. John Luther Adams, the great 20th century Unitarian theologian, had something to say back in the 1950s about our repellent attitude towards evangelism. Adams wrote, "So I would suggest that religious liberals ought to try to learn something about what the progressive evangelicals are doing. We could learn from them the uses of the prophetic elements of the Bible, elements that we have not been aware of, but that they are exploiting to good effect. I would like to hear such perspectives on the radio or in Harvard Memorial Church rather than hearing liberals, including Unitarians, just flatly and uncreatively condemning them." "I hide my face," he wrote, "when that happens. In view of the divisions among the evangelicals, we might even see possibilities in liberalism that are not being realized, such as the way the progressive evangelicals are dealing with the conservatives." James Luther Adams said this long time ago, in the 1950s, and it still felt very true to me today. But what would it even look like to evangelize Unitarian Universalism? I'm reminded of that old Unitarian joke I grew up hearing. What do you get when you cross a Jehovah's Witness with a Unitarian? Someone who comes to your door and doesn't know what to say. So first, first, we must make our congregation a radically, gregariously welcoming space. If you see someone you don't know, greet them in the social hour. Risk making a mistake. Perhaps they're not new here, only new to you. So what? Their evangelist spirit should require them to show you grace for your mistake. And if you notice someone coming into worship service late, please be an usher. We can all be ushers. Join the ushers. Scooch over, make room for them. Help them feel welcome here. Help them feel they belong. That's the easy part. It's still something we have to do, but that's the easy part. How do you talk about your faith in the world? That is an act of love, an act of kindness and generosity. Once you have found something good, don't keep it to yourself. Don't withhold the good. from those you love, those you know. Share your moment of call, the moment when you realized you were not just dabbling, but you were a full-fledged UU. If you love something, why not share it? A minister recently said to me, we all share pictures of our food when we go to a good restaurant, and then we recommend that restaurant to our friends, but we don't share our faith with the same enthusiasm on social media. So today, I want to encourage you to share a word of inspiration you heard today with your social media friends, or to check in on Facebook that you were at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta. And maybe you already do that, which is awesome. But if you don't do it, why don't you start trying to do that? Or just call up a friend who you think would love it here. Don't keep it a secret from them. Don't keep it a secret from them. I want to make sure I was clear. I will close with a story I heard just this last week, where I was at a UU ministers conference. I found myself sitting with Reverend Chris Bice, the minister at the Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. He was my director of religious education when I was in middle school. And we were reminiscing about a friend of mine, someone my same age who sadly died a few years ago after a long illness. Her name is Jessica, and she would love that I am preaching about her right now. See, Jessica was a staunch UU her entire life, though the friends that she kept outside of the church were culturally very different than a lot of the UUs who came to church at Tennessee Valley. See, she was friends with a lot of people with less education, less money, people who actively drank or did drugs. She was not a risk-averse person herself. Even as a youth, we voted her most likely to be on the roof during Sunday morning worship. I don't know why, but she was often on the roof. Reverend Chris told me something that I hadn't known about Jessica. He said that in her last year of life, she was bedridden at home and could not get to church. And that whole year, he kept seeing all these visitors show up on Sundays. They were much younger than the average churchgoer, and they dressed a little differently, seemed a little rougher around the edges. And whenever he greeted them and asked how they found out about the church, they responded with a dazed look and replied, "Jessica sent me." And that sums up Jessica perfectly. Above all, she was a deeply generous person. If she found something that she loved or something she found good, she immediately wanted you to have it. She wanted to share it with everyone else. And even in death, Jessica calls to me and to all of us, don't hide the good. If you have found the good, share it. Proclaim it. Use your dying breath to send your loved ones to the thing that saved you every day of your life. That's what Jessica calls to me. So what is a word? What is something you love about UUCA? Something that you would want to share with a friend? Something about Unitarian Universalism that inspires you? Make sure we can all hear you.
Diversity.
Humor. Open hearts, open minds.
But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. Amen.
I don't know about you, but I'm ready for total benevolent takeover. It's maybe the best phrase I've heard in any sermon ever. Well done. Well done, Reverend Strauss. Just love it. A couple years ago, I started saying it's the best place to be on the Sunday morning in Atlanta. And I say that because I mean it. I say that because it is awesome in here. And people, we should open these doors wide and you should bring your friends. It just feels good. Our last hymn is Building a New Way with little Marvin Gaye flair. Please rise in body or in spirit. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Every need, taught with love that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, this world would die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
Please join hands for the benediction. Stay standing if you're willing and able. Life is hard. And it's not perfect in here either. But the good news is what you are touching right now. This hand you are holding reminds you you do not have to go through it alone. That the work of getting free is all of our work to do together, to find a way to love more fully, more openly, more fiercely. So take the love you have found here, let it reverberate throughout your week as you do the work of the world. Carry this hand with you, reminding you, none of us are alone. Together, we are working to feed our every need, to bring peace and freedom to this world, working always to be free. Go in peace. Go in love. Amen. Blessed be.